Well, you saw right there a night of excitement during a rivalry high school regional soccer game in St. Matthews ended in a panic. Meredith White was in the stands recording the St. X boys soccer team celebrating their double overtime win against Trinity when players ran over to the bleacher railing, which then buckled. 6 students were hospitalized when the railing on new bleacher stands at Wagner High School collapsed.
St. X had just beaten Trinity in a big game. Tonight, WHAS11's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Connie Offit give us a closer look at what happened and what's next.
A celebratory victory on Wildcat Field at Wagner High School quickly became a scary moment. Caught on camera from the bleachers. The moment where the St. Matthews Fire Department says the railing on the stands gave in at the end of a soccer game.
Well, this was a regional high school soccer game against 2 rivals, St. X and Trinity.
The mayor of St. Matthews and spokesperson for the fire department, Rick Tonini, says the game went into overtime twice before St. X won and got excited.
The players ran over, and when the students came to greet them, the force against the railing gave way, the people in the stands to fall forward on top of the players underneath them. I have no names and have no injuries to advise, except for the fact that 3 people were transported to the hospital by St. Matthews Fire Department, EMS.
3 others were also taken to a hospital by private means. Now the field is empty, but caution tape remains. Executive Director of Athletics for St. X, Chris Tinius, says in a quote, "Thankfully, none of the injuries were life-threatening, and all affected students are recovering."
This was obviously a flaw that couldn't handle the situation. And when you have a sporting event like that, it's liable to happen again.
Owners of the campus, JCPS, says the bleachers were inspected on September 5th and were found to be in compliance. In St. Matthews, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 on your side.
And late this afternoon, we received a statement from Louisville Metro's Department of Codes and Regulations, which says the bleachers passed inspection, saying, quote, the railings were constructed to meet the 200-pound lateral load standard mandated by the Kentucky Building Code, and all plans received were stamped by a licensed engineer and approved by our office, end quote. JCPS is working on a repair timeline and says this Saturday's 7th Region Championship games are being moved to Ballard High School.
Well, for all those high school Friday night football games out there, at least our weather is good tonight.
Yeah, they're keeping an eye on the forecast, right, Matt?
That's right, you guys. Yeah, a beautiful start to our Friday evening, other than just a few of these clouds starting to roll their way into our skies. This view is brought to us by the Shriners Children's Hospital in Lexington, and we are off to a good start. Temperatures feeling good, too. In the mid-70s for us, with those winds out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour. Now that is returning the humidity back with us and also moisture. It's going to be sticking around through the overnight hours, and it's going to feed this front that's headed our direction as we head into our Saturday night into Sunday that could bring in a few thunderstorms that we'll keep an eye on. But as of now, just clouds rolling their way in from the west, continuing to keep us mostly overcast for the remainder of the evening and the overnight hours. Now as we enter the overnight time, those winds will continue to stay out of the south. That's going to drive in that moisture and keep us muggy through the overnight hours. We're starting tomorrow morning off with partly sunny skies, temperatures in the lower 60s, and then we're warming up quickly into the upper 70s and lower 80s. As we enter our Saturday evening hours, a few isolated showers will be developing, and they will transition into thunderstorms that will be arriving just as we go into the midnight time frame. That's going to bring in some rounds of showers and thunderstorms that could be a bit strong at times, bringing in winds up to 30 to 40 miles per hour. And following behind this main line of storms is going to be just a widespread rain event. We're going to see several showers continuing across Kentuckiana throughout the rest of our Sunday morning and throughout our Sunday afternoon. I'm still expecting rain showers to continue until about Sunday evening. That's whenever these northwest winds will continue to drive in cooler conditions, keeping us cooler as we head into our Sunday evening and Sunday night. So we are in for some changes. Weather impact alert day is in place for Saturday evening, overnight into our Sunday morning. You want to make sure you just have ways of receiving weather alerts. We'll have more details coming up in a few short minutes.
All right, Matt, thank you. New here at 5 o'clock, Kentucky seniors are seeing a major free meals program cut back on some of its services.
And this comes as Governor Andy Beshear says COVID money has run out and the state faces a significant budget deficit going in to 2026. Here are 3 things you need to know. 1, Kentucky has allotted $20 million in state funds over the past 2 years to offer free hot meals to seniors. But with huge demand, local centers are running out of money. And 3, according to Governor Andy Beshear, the state faces a $305 million shortfall. Isaiah Kim Martinez was down in Nelson County today seeing the impact firsthand. Now, Isaiah, you say there's real fear down there.
Connie, Conroy, that is the word. This is a state program that has exploded in demand during the pandemic and has pretty much been growing ever since. Now there's a bit of whiplash as families learn their local senior center is having to make some tough choices. They call it their home away from home. Seniors in Bardstown meeting up for games.
A great broccoli soup we had today.
And free lunch every week at the Nelson County Senior Center.
Nothing's fried, and there's protein and fruit every day.
The fear for Tonda Luckett and her friends is seeing these critical services cut back or even done away with entirely without the necessary funding.
That there are people that don't have, seniors that don't have food. Oh yeah, yeah. And you know, like I said, the grocery store is so expensive.
The Kentucky Senior Meals Program is running low on money, and the local centers that serve the communities, called area development districts, are being forced to make difficult decisions. In Nelson County's case, that means rolling back free drive-through pickups to just 3 days a week instead of 5.
This year, the ad districts are saying they're going to need about double what is the budgeted amount to meet the total needs, and there aren't ARPA funds left.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is referencing the now used up COVID money that has for years helped this expanded program meet the demand of more than 30,000 seniors across the state. But now facing what Beshear estimates to be a potential budget deficit of more than $300 million, which he attributes partially to rising costs due to tariffs, he says the state will have to tighten its belt until the General Assembly can budget more money to the program.
The only shorter term solution is when the legislature comes back, they could have an opportunity to appropriate again to this year. They can reopen this budget to increase it.
It is a crisis.
But Republican State Senator Greg Elkins believes the governor's administration has the funds available to shift more money into the program.
I'm a buck stops here guy, and I think the blame falls at the feet of the governor. He can either shift those funds around and shore this program up. He can call us into special session and we'll do his work for him, or he can allow these seniors to continue to go without hot meals, and so far he's chosen the latter.
In the meantime,
it would really hurt a lot of people if it was cut.
This group is hoping for a swift solution to keep these doors open and operating as much as possible. By the way, the governor hasn't said yet whether he will call a special session. Meanwhile, he's also pointed to reductions to the state income tax rate as being, in his words, part of the reason for hundreds of millions of dollars in lost revenue. But Republican state lawmakers like Greg Elkins point out, they say they identified these funding issues for the meals program before the governor brought attention to this projected budget shortfall. Connie.
All right, Isaiah, thank you. In other Kentucky economic news, Governor Andy Beshear announced today the Commonwealth is ranked in the top 10 states for continued economic growth and future preparedness for the 4th year in a row. Kentucky placed 8th in Site Selection Magazine's 2025 Global Groundwork Index, which bases the ranking on capital investment and job announcements paired with infrastructure funding data. Now, a few Kentucky metros also placed among the magazine's top cities, with Louisville coming in at 7th place. Well, southern Indiana authorities have confirmed cases of bird flu in multiple counties, including Greene, Jefferson, and Franklin. Now, health officials say the virus has been detected in local wildlife and poultry, prompting advisories for farmers and residents to be extra cautious. They're urging people to avoid contact with sick or dead birds, report unusual bird deaths, and practice strict biosecurity on farms. Now, agriculture experts warn that while human risk remains low, precautionary steps are essential to protect animal populations and prevent spread.
Today in Louisville, city leaders and family members celebrated new corrections officers joining the ranks. After 12 weeks of intense training, including firearms, defensive tactics, and mental health education, 10 recruits graduated and earned their badges. The jail's leader thanked them for their commitment to public safety and service.
Trying to get larger numbers in there, you know, it's tough for public safety right now to recruit, but we're trying to face that challenge and get as many folks as we can in there.
Awards were presented for leadership, academics, and marksmanship. Jamie Lucas was named Honor Graduate. The ceremony also recognized promotions and retirements, celebrating service at every stage of the department.
Today, Bishop Dennis Lyons hosted his weekly roundtable, and he met with a number of new officials in the metro. The Bishop's Table is meant to help build community trust between the West Louisville and governing officials and many newly appointed officials, including the new interim sheriff, David James, and recently appointed deputy mayor, Sean Kemper, made their first public appearances. Now, they were joined by Deputy Sheriff Steve Healy, who is currently running for sheriff. In a short but sweet speech, Sheriff James acknowledged the honor of being the first black sheriff in Jefferson County and how he plans to succeed the late Sheriff Aubrey.
Sheriff Aubrey passed away about 4 weeks ago. I am not filling his shoes. I'm just simply walking in his shadow. A lot of people have said to me, "Oh, it's great. You're the first black sheriff of Jefferson County." I didn't do that. You all did that.
And Sheriff James gave credit to the black Louisvillians who paved the way before him. The rest of the new officials expressed their plans to make the Louisville community a safer and better place.
Today, Louisville's Meredith Dunn School cut the ribbon on its new $4 million expansion. The campus serves students diagnosed with learning differences such as dyslexia, attention deficit disorder, and other functioning challenges. The completed project modernizes the campus, replacing several smaller, non-adjoining buildings with a new conjoined learning space. Other key additions include an arts and media lab, STEAM lab, and a new lunchroom. The expansion allows the school to house middle school students all together, address enrollment growth, and reduce its wait list.
Still to come, one of the most significant airlifts in Alaska history is still underway. Hundreds being rescued from coastal villages ravaged by typhoons, high surf, and strong winds.
Here's a look at the Kentucky Lottery jackpot numbers. The Mega Millions, $625 million. The Powerball, $295 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.